Alright, Shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Karkadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and in sincerity, and the women and children who follow. So I wanted to do this lesson on the straits, and we're gonna get a couple of scriptures and go through it. I'm gonna talk a little bit because we're all gonna have to go through something. Okay, so when it says straight, it's not talking about a direction. It's talking about a hard time. So we're just going to jump right into the scriptures. This is Matthew chapter 7, starting at verse 13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few be there, and few there be that find it. Okay, so let's get this word straight.
Strong's G 4728 Stenos.
It says narrow, straight. Let's see, we can dig a little deeper. It says from obstacles standing close about. Straight. Let me see if I can get the. Bear with me. This is the etymology. It says straight. It says narrow, confined space or place, specifically of bodies of water. Let me see. Straight. It says a bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Okay, and that's the definition that we're looking for. A bad or difficult situation or a state of affairs. Because we're gonna all go through these bad situations. It's gonna be a bad state of affair when this whole thing that we're going through with the coronavirus intensifies. Everything that's going on, the food shelves, they're getting empty. Supplies are low. People are still out of work. Yeah, you got people or the government's doing a second round of stimulus, and people are still getting that 600 a week, but that's gonna get cut off here in July, I believe. So what you gonna do after that? People are in straits right now or going through something right now, but it's gonna intensify. All right, the scriptures is very what's the word I'm looking for? Detailed on what's gonna be taking place in the last days. We all know what Jacob's trouble entails. And if you don't, that's another lesson. We'll definitely get to that as well. But go back to the actual scripture we just read. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction." Okay, so broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. That's where the majority of the people are going to go, because this isn't for everybody. Okay, well, we are here to be a servant of the Lord. The majority of the world is not going to get this. That's why only 1/3 of our nation is going to be saved, and then everybody else is just out of luck, so to speak. So that's why I said, broad is the way that leads to destruction. Okay, not many people are going to conform themselves to come back to this life. That says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few be there that find it. So it's going to be few people that actually decide to get their shit together, so to speak, and to come back to the Lord, to the Most High. Okay, so we're gonna get this is Second Ezra chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "And I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set at a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case in but put the case the narrow but put the case the entrance were narrow, and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it, and to rule it? If he were not through the narrow, how could he come through the broad?" So you get, in order for you to get all this sea that's available, you got to come through this small channel to get there. Now, if you don't want to flow through this small channel to get to the wide and broad, then you're never going to get there. Okay, and that's us getting to the kingdom. We have to go through these hard times. We have to go through this strait. We got to go through. It's going to elaborate, but we're gonna go through this tight situation in order to get an abundance. And we need to use this in our everyday lives as well. You know, because it's Sunday. Of course, I watched the Last Dance Jordan documentary on ESPN, and they were going over the flu game, so-called flu game. But he had food poisoning, but he had to dig deep. Michael Jordan, that is, he had to dig deep and pull something about of him that he didn't know that he had. Even he didn't know he had that. And then in the game clinching game, the next season in '98, Scottie Pippen had a back injury, and he had to play through that injury. He had to pull, like, just like Jordan, he had to pull that something out of him that he didn't know that he had in the reserve tanks. And that's what we have to do in our daily life. We have to realize, you know, that we can go further. We can dig deeper, and it's really going to get into that. Of course, the end all be all is salvation, but this is something that we can use in our daily life as well. Is what I'm saying. Um, Verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. And the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city were now given to a man for inheritance, if if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how should he receive this inheritance? So this is what we can use in our daily life, because if you have a goal that you want to reach, you're not going to just wake up and be where you need to be. There's You got to fight, you got to scheme, you got to plot, do whatever it is you have to do to make it to your goal. You're going to have to go through something to make it to that goal. Nothing's going to be just given to you. If you want it, if you truly want it, you have to work for it. And that's the same way we're going to get the kingdom. Okay, nobody's going to be a piece of shit their whole life, and then 5 minutes before salvation, okay, I repent, I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. Faith and works. But the way that this world believes that you could do something like that, like you could be a murderer and like a kid killer at that, and then right before you know the judgment comes, you just automatically repent, and then that's cool. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I'm not saying who can and who can't be saved, because maybe somebody does get in like that, but that's not the way that the majority of the people are going to make it. It's that faith and works is what the scripture says. So to read on. And I said, It is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Okay, that's our portion, that's our lot. We have to work for it. We're not going to just get the kingdom. And it says the saints are going to take the kingdom. Yes, it does. But it also speaks about everything that we have to go through, i.e., Jacob's trouble, before we get said kingdom, before we get all the good things that we do have coming to us. Like I said, the city is set on a broad hill with all good things. You just got to get through this trial. Okay, and you can't go to the left, you can't go to the right, just go straight. Right, and this is a dangerous place that we're in right now because Babylon is getting very dangerous. With everything that's going on, you're gonna see the riots, you're gonna see martial law and the troops come in, you're gonna see the chip be implemented, you're gonna see mandatory vaccinations. All of this stuff is coming. The dollar crash, all of this is on the horizon. So you're gonna see those bad times. You gotta have the wherewithal and the resolve within yourself to dig inside of yourself and go deeper than you ever thought you could. Okay, and for real deal, ride for the Lord. That's what you have to do. That's what I have to do. That's what anybody who is seeking salvation has to do to get about this place. Let me see, where am I? Verse 11, it says, I'll go back to 10. It says, And I said, It is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. Okay, he made the world for our sake. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of peril and very painful. So the things that we're gonna go through, because Adam went off, everything was available to us, and now only available to a few. That small gate, okay, only available to a few, and dangerous path to get there as well. So I mean, and you can see the men in the prophets in the past. They were hunted. They were killed. All the disciples, they were killed. It says in the scripture that some of us should be cast into prison. That we're going to be persecuted, hated for His name's sake. They killed they killed Yahweh Shai. Will they not come after us? Are we not better than our master? So all these things are coming. All these things are on the horizon. Let me see. I think there might have been just a little bit more I wanted to get out of this. Verse 13. For the entrances of the world, it's like the elder world, were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. Yeah, so I'm gonna read 12 with that. It says, Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, and full of peril and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. So, like I said, back in the day, it was wide. Everybody got in. Everybody was doing good. It was cool. But because evil came into this world, okay, because the transgression of Adam, now we have this present world that we're in now. All right, where the righteous are on the bottom and the wicked are on the top. Okay, but what it says that there's still a way that we can get there, but we have to go through these things. These things must happen. I'm gonna give one more scripture, then we're gonna call it a day. This is Second Ezra chapter 4, and starting at verse 27, it says, "It cannot comprehend." Verse 26, it says, Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, and the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteneth fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in the time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. said this world hastens to pass away, is ready to get on with it. It knows how this devil is. It knows that it's not operating at its 100% potential. Look at the fruits and the crops that it brings forth. Look at the pollution. The coronavirus is one of the best things that ever happened to the actual Earth because now you got seawater being clean. You have cities uh, clear from all the smog and all that other pollution that's going into the air. The ozone, those, the the ozone layer is repairing itself because everything is shut down. All the commerce is shut down. We're not destroying the earth like we have been for the past however many years. It says, "But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come." All right, the evil is sown in this place, and the destruction is not yet come. But you better be guaranteed that it's on the way. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that which that is sown in good, sown with good. Okay, so if that evil don't get turned upside down, okay, so if righteousness doesn't come out on top in the end, then we'll never have the kingdom. But that's the point. We gotta go through these straits. We gotta do what we gotta do, like the scripture just said. Um, that evil is sown, and it's gonna pass away, and that's gonna come, which is good, which is our kingdom. Lord will, I'm a part of it. Lord will, you are part of it. With that being said, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory that's called law unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, the bonds to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring the truth and sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.